Welcome to OnWard. It is a beautiful Saturday morning in Atlanta, Georgia. And the reason I'm emphasizing Atlanta, Georgia is because we have guests who are coming to us from a variety of places. We've got Chicago in the house, and soon to join us will be St. Croix, Virgin Islands. But this is OnWard, and you're listening to OnWard on the WCEG Network, WCEG Talk Radio. You can watch us now. You can live stream us on YouTube at the WCEG Network. You can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Insta on at WCEG Network or at WCEG Talk Radio. WCEG, the Worldwide Community Engagement Group, where we speak life into the community. The opinions expressed today are those of the guests and the hosts, not of WCEG. So for those of you who are new to OnWard, OnWard is a show that is really a conversation. It's a conversation about the challenges that happen to all of us. Either we've gone through some things, we're going through some things, or we will be going through some things. And it's how do we get support? How do we lend support? And, just being helpful and motivating each other to be able to navigate what's going on in our lives. And that's what we're going to be talking to our hosts about today. Our theme today is staying grounded by doing good. And I'm with the Grounded Cafe group. That is Reggie Perry, the founder and owner of Grounded. And Reggie, you're joining us from where today? I think Reggie is muted.
Unmuted. I just unmuted myself. St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands is where I am.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about the weather today. Make us jealous.
Oh, it's 85 degrees in the shade, so it's nice and cool down here. It's beautiful weather down here. Actually a little overcast, but it's beautiful. 85 degrees, 365 days a year is what we boast.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then you have your cousins who are partners with you, Cynthia and Anita, who are joining us from Chicago. Quite the opposite. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in Chicago.
20 degrees with the chance of snow.
I'd much rather be in St. Croix right now.
Much rather be in St. Croix.
I would love to have y'all.
And Cynthia, you actually just left Atlanta, right?
I did yesterday afternoon.
Yes, because actually Grounded Cafe got its start in St. Croix, but you recently opened a cafe in Atlanta, and we're going to talk a little bit about that shortly. And I know Cynthia spends a lot of time there, but we want to talk a little bit about how Grounded got started. There's kind of this theme behind it, and I want to go back to Reggie. So you're from Chicago, but you found yourself in St. Croix opening this amazing coffee shop to serve people, especially people in your church. Tell us a little bit about how that got started.
So the need was, people on a Sunday morning, they're a little lethargic about getting the service. So we figured we put a coffee shop in. We offer free pastries and coffees between 7 and 7:30. They would come out and be ready for church at, prayer. And so that's actually how we got kicked into the coffee. And how we got the name Grounded, as we was trying to think of names of what to do. Opposed to holy ground and something that had a real church tone to it. Grounded came up because everyone needs to be rooted and grounded, and that's how we how it came to be. And then from there, we just launched our first one right at the time of Hurricane Maria that came in 2017. We launched our first one off of the church property, which was great. And from then on, we've had 4 others here on the island, 5, and then of course now we're in Atlanta.
So you were able to get Anita and Cynthia involved. Tell us a little bit about how you were able to pull family members into this and why you decided to make this a family affair.
Well, we've been family all of our lives. Some people be family like sometimes they all You know, I'm 54 and I can't tell their age, but we've been family all of my life, so I ain't gonna tell how old they are. But with that being said, because we've been family, we never argue, never fight, and they want to do because they do cakes in Chicago. I said, well, let's do it in Atlanta, you know, and it wasn't a tough sell because, you know, we're family and we trust each other, we love each other so much, and you know, if we rise together. If we fail together. We don't have failing in mind, but you know, if it so happens, rising tide lifts all boats, and that's how we try to look at it. So we're just family, and that's how we got to it. And coffee and cake goes together well.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So Cynthia, you know, I know that you are a baker. How did you get your start in this business?
I can't even remember how I got started baking. I've been baking for so long, but actually we started off with a catering company in Chicago. My sisters, Anita, and my other sister, Terry, who passed away a few years ago, we did a lot of catering, and people used to always ask us, do you do cakes? And we would say, no, we don't do cakes. So then for Christmas one year, my sister Terry gave me some cake lessons at Michael's craft store.
Cake decorating.
And that was the start of our cake business, because after those classes, we just went forth from there and doing decorated cakes and just learning from YouTube videos and things like that. And after a while, we just stopped the catering part and just started concentrating on cakes and sweets.
Wow. So Anita, were you a part of the baking as well?
No.
So what were you? So what were you bringing?
I had no intentions of getting into the business at all. Cynthia and Terry were the bakers of the family. They were the ones who cooked and all of that kind of stuff. I've always been artistic, but baking wasn't my thing. So they needed help decorating, and that's where I came in.
Okay,
so
you're the decorator.
Yeah, I provide the concepts, and then Cynthia and I execute together.
I think that's awesome. That's awesome. And so, Reggie, the interesting thing about Grounded is not just that you serve your church community, but that you were very intentional about where you were getting your beans for your coffee. Tell us a little bit about how you decided to go to Rwanda to get your beans and who you're working with and how that's helping the Rwandan economy.
So there's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Fitzgerald Hill and Clifton Talbert. Clifton Talbert, they did a movie about his life years ago called Once Upon a Time When I Was Colored. You can look it up. It's a very, 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 very nice movie. And Dr. Fitzgerald Hill was the president of Arkansas Baptist University. So they, knowing them, they went over to Rwanda. They heard about the coffee grown there, and they decided to come back and do a coffee business. And meeting them and knowing that now it's a source from small Rwandan farmers, it just piqued my interest because, you know, as I often say, I love us. I love us as a people, and I love to be able to give back to help us. And so that was that was actually the main catalyst of using the Rwandan bean, because you can get it from Jamaica and anywhere else in the country, but we are with them actually contacting the farmers. It lets me know that I'm really dealing with these small group of individuals and not some conglomerate of, but they've taken and mixed the beans up and now they turn around and tell it to you as a Rwandan. We actually know the farmers and the ones. And then from that, they told me that, you know, portions of all coffee sold goes back to help students that want to go to Arkansas Baptist University. That made me feel good, because now it helped changing lives even more, not just by providing to the village, but now you're also giving them an opportunity to go out, become a productive citizen, get an education, doctor, lawyer, whatever they decide to be, and go back to help their country.
And so you mentioned a couple of things. One, can you mention the movie again that you just discussed? I want to make sure that we're able to share that.
Once Upon a Time When I Was Colored is the story of Clifton Talbert.
Okay. Great. So we'll make sure to put that in our chat. And then you talked about the fact that your coffee is sole sourced. So you're not going to a variety of places. It's coming solely from Rwanda.
Correct.
That's amazing.
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. I mean, I've been approached by other people to serve their coffee in the coffee shop from different places. I already got come in from Venezuela to try to get me to do his, and a couple other places. But I actually stick to the Rwandan bean. We just do several roasts of that bean. And people say we don't have variety, and that's okay. You know, I know variety is the spice of life, but once you have our cup of coffee, it's a good cup of coffee, and it makes you change. You know, so yes.
I don't even drink coffee, and it's good coffee to me.
Well, I've had your coffee, and I have to say that it is good coffee. It's great, by the way. But so you opened up, I think you said you have 4 or 5 locations in St. Croix right now?
Yeah, we did. No, we did. We closed a couple over time. We had one in the gym, and then we had 4 around the city, which was kind of a lot. And then, of course, we have more coffee shops opening up. So right in my area, when I first started, we had 2 in my area. Now we have 7. So, you know, coffee is a good business here in the islands. You wouldn't think that, but it really is. So now we have 7 around. So it just begins to the demand for coffee is good, and so it's enough business for everyone. But we close a few down here to be able to focus back in to keep it where it needs to be as far as be profitable and be able to help.
And so you shifted. You have your shops in St. Croix, but you made this leap to Atlanta. Tell us about why you decided to open up a shop in Atlanta, of all places, especially given that, you know, you have family in Chicago. What made you decide to come to Atlanta?
Well, back to my original statement, I like us, but they don't always say it that way. But then I like being around us. But I just think I think it's a good place to be. You get a chance to see the culture, and you get to see a mixture of us from different countries there. And it's a direct flight from Chicago, direct flight from St. Croix. We come together, and I just think it's a good place. It's a good place of business, and we prayed about it, and and we get there, and things begin to work out for us, and it begins to line up. So I think Atlanta was just a good place as far as being able to bring our product to a Black community that say we're the only certified Black-owned coffee distributor in the country. So to say that we're able to come to a Black community with our product I just thought it was a great place to be. I mean, we could have gone to Alabama into Muscle Shoals or somewhere, but I think Atlanta was the place to be.
And so you opened up your shop in October, correct, of 2022.
Yes.
So it's pretty new. You're on Peachtree Street in Midtown, right across from SCAD. But you entered into an interesting partnership. And this is where we talk about the stay grounded, do good. You partnered with an organization, which I'm involved with, called the Zabin Parity Center, that serves couples, families, individuals experiencing homelessness. And you did something interesting. You hired some of the folks who are staying in the shelter, the residential program for couples experiencing homelessness. What made you decide to partner with this organization and to bring on people experiencing homelessness, some of whom may never have had experience working in a cafe?
Well, for a number of the main reason we decided to do that is because of the lovely person that's hosting this program, being Adrianne Butler. She came in one day and to be able to see one of the individuals from the shelter they're working, and we had a conversation. So Adrianne, thank you first of all for opening the door and the idea of what we were already doing. We'd already hired from the shelter before meeting you. And it was a good hire because they actually worked hard with us prior to open, day in, day out, many hours. So we appreciate that. And then to be able to talk to you, to be able to further that, to give more individuals an opportunity to come out of the shelter, because people are there, some are there because they want to be there, but some are there because they're forced to be there. And as Cynthia, Anita, and myself, coming from the background we have as the Christian background, it is easier, and it's our duty to be able to help those as a good Samaritan. Other people may pass them by, but our job is try to pick up everyone we can and give them shelter and tell the innkeeper, listen, whatever they need when we get back, we'll take care of it, put on our credit for us. And so with that being said, to have a conversation with you, it made it easy for us to embrace other individuals from there. And again, they do a great job.
Right.
And so I want to pivot to Cynthia, because Cynthia, I know that Reggie comes in from time to time to oversee the operations, but you really work closely with a lot of the folks there. So what has your experience been with the employees that you've hired who have been experiencing homelessness? Like I said, some of whom may not have the experience right now that you need, but working with them to get to that point.
Well, working with them has been phenomenal. Some of the ones that are in there now are enjoying learning how to bake. I'm teaching them how to bake, some of them, and a couple are being trained as baristas. So just seeing their faces when they complete the task and take the muffins out of the oven, and they're doing things that they have never done before. It's just giving them some training and some hope. And I even had one yesterday ask, when you go to Chicago, if you need some help, is it okay if I come along sometime? Just so I can learn more from you. So it's good to see that they are excited about what they're doing. And then we're giving them hope and some direction even for the future. So even if they're not there, they'll have some skills to take to other places and be able to hopefully provide for themselves down the road.
We always said that the cafe was bigger than us.
Yes.
Always said it was bigger than us before we even got established. It was all about divine connections. And so when we had the opportunity, when they told me about the opportunity to work with the shelter, I'm like, God, this is amazing, because that's always been our goal. My pastor teaches that we get to give because we get to give.
Yes.
And it's just all working together. It's absolutely amazing, the divine connections that are being made, even through Zayman and just with the community in general.
Exactly. And that's a great point, Anita, because, a lot of times we believe that, church is physically going to church, but church is anywhere where we are.
Exactly.
And so your mission, your collective mission is grounded and helping people to be employed, helping people to have hope, as Cynthia said, and seeing that there's a better way. And Reggie, you and I actually talked a little earlier, and you were sharing with me the story of one of the young people that you hired, and how he came into you, how he presented himself the first day, and some words of encouragement and motivation that you gave him. Tell us a little bit about how he came in and how you helped him to change his mindset.
He came in that day looking like he came from a homeless shelter that had no running water and no electricity and all them things. And I looked at him in the face, very honest, I said, listen, I know where you live. They provide a shower and they provide laundry facilities for you to wash clothes. I said, what you going to do? You're going to get a haircut. I said, you already hired. You're going to get a haircut, and you're going to take the rope from around your belt, because you're not part of the Beverly Hillbillies, the Clampets. You're not Jed or Jethro. You're going to put on a belt. You're going to buy a belt. So I gave him the funds to go buy a belt and the funds to go get a haircut. Gospel truth, Adrian, he said, okay, I'm doing it. He went and got his haircut, went and got his belt. The next day he came to work. He came to work dressed down in a suit. Am I lying, Cynthia?
No, he came in the suit.
I walked in, I was surprised. He said, well, you told me to clean myself up. He went and put on a suit and shoes to come to work the next day. I said, not that dressed up, not that dressed up, not that dressed up. Go back. But it did. And I told him, I said, listen, I said, just because you live in a homeless shelter, don't have the mindset that you're a homeless shelter, because you have a wonderful place to live. I mean, everything you need is there every single day, to wash laundry, to take a shower. So you can come out the place clean every day, you know. And from that day to this one, you know, he still don't comb his hair every day, but that's okay. You know, but looks good. He's presentable every time he comes. Some people you find in shelters, they come with a smell. They're clean because you all provide the space for them to have life, and you treat them as individuals there at the shelter, and not as a herd of cattle coming in. So with that being said, I appreciate Zaban for that. But yes, that was a conversation we had. And again, sometimes you just need a little encouragement, because we begin to slip into the environment they say we're in. And so that's what happened with his story. But again, the next day he came in with suit on. I was like, what is this, man?
I love it. I love it. And so with that in mind, you know, we know that a lot of people experiencing homelessness have trauma in their lives. They experience challenges, some, you know, like the challenges that we all experience, but some a little deeper. What is it? You talked about your faith, all of you collectively, but what is it about your faith? What is it about your growing up as a family that really made you see that people are in need of help and hope, and that you're a part of that you're just not onlookers, that you are people who show up and are willing to work with anyone to help them to have a better life? And I'll ask each of you that. I'll start with you, Anita.
You just think every day you ask God for an opportunity to show his love through you. And so before we even got to Atlanta, a friend of ours at church had recently visited Atlanta, and she came back and she was talking about the homeless situation in Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, God, she's telling us this for a reason. And the very next week we were there, and we had an opportunity to see it for ourselves. And once again, I'm like, divine connections. Okay, God, what can we do? And so being presented with the opportunity to help people, to help first the first two individuals, and then eventually to be able to have the opportunity to work with the shelter in general. Okay, once again, divine connections. God, how can we help? How can we help your people? And then he presented the opportunity. So as a family growing up, we were extremely close. I mean, my uncles, we all lived within walking distance just about from each other. And those that didn't live within walking distance, my father made sure that we got an opportunity to see them either at church, or we were visiting them sometime throughout the week. There was no time where I can remember lack within our family, because when there were job layoffs or whatever, whereas your father and mother may not have been able to provide, the uncles and aunts always stepped in to provide. So there was no such thing as lack. And we want to make sure that we can provide that for as many people as possible.
You know, Anita, you just touched on something that I think is important, and I'll ask Cynthia and Reggie to chime in on this. But one of the things about homelessness, a lot of people believe that, you know, it's because people are addicted or because people just don't have jobs. But a lot of times it's lack of connection. It's because you don't have the supports to keep you propped up when things happen in your life. And so Cynthia and Reggie, I want you to talk a little bit about that, about the family support that you had and how you now help to prop up others through that support that you grew up with, that you grew up knowing about.
Well, our family, like Anita said, has always been close. So we always knew, and our friends even knew that if they needed something, they could come to us. It wasn't just about those who were blood related. It was anybody that we knew, some that we didn't even know, that just knew about our family, that could come and get what they needed from us. So like, just talking to some of the people from Zaban that are working there, I just ask them, you know, like, what happened? What's your story? And a lot of them it's not, like you said, because of something they did, or sometimes it's just circumstances bring you to a place where you just can't provide for yourself at that moment. Um, some have like left other states to get away from a lifestyle that they knew was not right for them,
Right.
and just ended up in Georgia and Atlanta and had no other family support there.
Yes.
But because they're trying to make a new life for themselves, get away from some bad behavior that they had in other places or bad situations that they were in there, you know. So I'm glad we're there to be able to not only give them employment, but I try to encourage them too while they're there. Just because you were in that situation, you don't have to go back to that.
Right.
We're trying to help you out as much as we can. Zaban is trying to help you out as much as they can. So, try to stay on the straight and narrow now.
Yeah.
If we don't want you to go back to selling drugs, we don't want you to go back to abusive relationships, things like that you came from. So we try. I tried to make it like a family environment there.
That is wonderful.
Because family is important, and then if you make them feel like they're family, they'll be more dedicated to stay.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And Reggie, I know that, you're the one behind the scenes really helping to create this environment, and you were talking to me earlier about growing up in the church and your close-knit family. How has that helped you to want to help others?
Well, as Nita and Cynthia said, it's just part of our life. And from the church realm, we say that, Christ said, as you do to the least of these, my little ones, you do it unto me. The Good Samaritan, everything is about helping and reaching other individuals. Now, I, on the other side of Cynthia, she's the warm, she's the quiet approach one. So I'm very vocal in my approach, but I'm very comical in it. So sometimes you have to hear through the jokes or the seriousness of what I'm saying. And so I say what I say, because I'm very straight, but I say it in a loving way that you will laugh about it. It's okay, yeah, I need to do this here. Again, like the same thing with the young man with the haircut stuff. The way I said it to him wasn't in a demeaning way. It was a very fun, laughing way that he went down, going to get my haircut and stuff. So the church as we know it, growing up, has just made us be a part of who we are. And again, so we get it from the church because that's what we get. But more than from the church, we got examples from our mothers and our fathers of what it means to be, is to train up a child. And the only way you can train up a child is, I know we said to train up a child in a biblical way, but to train up a child in a right way of being able to serve the community, help those that are less fortunate, help those that are even fortunate, that made us feel a hard time. So we learn it from the biblical standpoint, but we also learn it from our mothers and fathers. So therefore, it makes the family stronger. So to be able to breathe that, to give to other people, to help them grab a family that works. And that's what we try to do, is to push a family that works. We might not go out all the time to dinner or stuff, but we can be cordial, laugh, talk, and just make them feel good and fuzzy. Make them feel good about leaving Zaban, walking 250 steps down to Grounded Cafe, to look forward to that door open and say, you know what, I have someone I can call a brother, sister. I've even been called a father figure. That's why I got this cup that says, I'm not a dad. It's not a dad bod. It's a father figure. So I've even been called a father figure in the coffee shop. So for them to be excited about walking from those 250 steps down to the coffee shop makes us feel good every day that we're changing their life. May not be able to change everyone's life inside of Zaban, but the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that we come in contact with, as God is our help, we will change their lives and make it better.
That is awesome. And one of the things that I think is really cool is not only what you give them personally and the skills, but also you pay them a fair wage. You're paying, anywhere, $15 and up an hour. And you're a small business. You're not a Starbucks. And so for a small business, that's a stretch.
No,
it really is.
You don't know the stretch, but anyway, we have a friend he's probably listening in right now. And our conversation starting, and he met with us there in Atlanta, met with Cynthia and myself, and I don't know if Anita actually met him or not. But one of the things we discussed in our beginning, and we want to make sure that we do, is to offer them a living wage. You can offer minimum wage if you want to, and they will go to someone else. But if you ever plan on people changing their lives and coming from Zaban, you have to give them something to be able to come from Zaban with. And so if you give them $8 an hour, you can't, I don't know minimum wage in Atlanta. $8 an hour, $8.75. So if you give them the minimum wage, they can't afford to come from Zaban, so they'll always be there. But if you give them a living wage, which the country has said $15 an hour is a living wage, well, we pray that some of these individuals from the shelter will one day be able to shift up into management to go to one of our jobs and go from 15 to 22 to 25 to $30 an hour. That'll be our goal, not just to say at 15 is the base, being able to move up farther from there. But yes, you have to give them a living wage if you plan on them changing their lives. If you can't do that, then we're wasting our time. Right.
It's a real leap of faith for you all. Because as small business owners, you could have said, look, all we can do right now is $8 an hour. But that's a leap of faith to say, we're going to give them a fair wage. We're going to provide great skills training, and we're trusting that business will grow and that we'll be able to support this and continue in this mission. So let's talk about Grounded itself. Again, you all are located in Midtown, a great area. Talk a little bit about your hours, what you offer. Let's get people excited so that we can get folks in the door buying your great coffee and danishes and salads and all that good stuff.
Cindy, you want to start and then I can finish?
Okay, well, right now our hours are from 8 to 5 on Monday through Saturday. And hopefully we will be expanding those hours soon. As the business grows, we will expand the hours. Right now, we're also partnering with some people who would like to do Friday night open mic nights.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
So that's going to start at the beginning of March. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll have some mocktails, no cocktails. Right now we offer during the day, we have our coffee, all kind of coffee drinks, teas, hot chocolate. We have muffins, cakes, salads, sandwiches, all of which are great. What else, Reggie?
We cater on the side for those for catering needs. Catering as well for your office events. But so the tagline is Grounded Cafe, coffee, cake, and cream. So coffee, cake, and let me just say the ice cream portion, which we're not put into full effect yet because of our one issue. But the ice cream is made by a local Black doctor here in St. Croix. It's all homemade. He has a business there in Atlanta, but it's all homemade. And I tell you, it is some of the best ice cream you will ever put in your mouth. Talk to me, cousins. Am I lying?
Yeah, he is right. It's delicious ice cream, and I wish we could get it going right now.
Right.
Ice cream, Adrianne, that I think you've tasted as well, haven't you?
I have not tasted it. No.
Oh, well, you need to taste it. You need to taste it. This chocolate, it is amazing. So with that being said, again, it's a Black doctor that
is awesome.
Made it here in St. Croix. He has a spot in Atlanta that he produces well, so therefore it makes it easier to do the coffee, cake, and cream. You love coffee and cake, you love cake and ice cream, so you try to do the whole thing together, and then on the other side that you get the soup, salad, and sandwiches. But the coffee, cake, and cream is what we try to make sure we're ready every day. And again, we have a wonderful service with a smile, and we have all the products that you need as our menu grows. And we'll be moving forward. And we do have some other things on the horizon that we can share that we're going to share.
Absolutely. Yes. And one of the things that is on the horizon is a Sunday brunch that we look to host. And so Zaban and Grounded will be looking to do together. And we're super excited about that, trying to get that in the works, get our volunteers together to be servers. And again, having folks who are from the center as employees. So, you all are doing some amazing things in the community.
Adrianne, can I interject for a second? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
They forgot to mention that we have a whole avocado toast bar.
Oh,
yes,
yes.
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I love avocado toast. Talk about that, Anita.
Have a whole avocado toast bar. We have people who are specially trained to do it. We offer 5 different selections, I think it is, Reggie?
9.
9. Oh, 9. 9 different options for you. So we have I had never even thought about honey on avocado toast.
That
Spicy
sounds
honey.
really good.
That right there, yeah.
That sounds awesome. That sounds
It's
fabulous.
so yeah.
And Adrian, I just wanted, you finished, Nita?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to also share that one of the things I think that made it easier for us growing up as we work with community and family and to be who we are today is we didn't have the many distractions of social media as we had then. So therefore, all we had was somebody to talk to on the phone to build a relationship because we had somebody. We in order to play, we had to go outside to play. We couldn't sit. I had an Atari.
Right, exactly. I remember that. Yeah.
That didn't last too long. So we go outside, we play. So that was one of the reasons it made it just easier for us to become family because we need each other to depend on and lean on. Social media has taken so much of that away from us, of the actual personal relation of it. Therefore, when people start sending me too many texts, I tell them to pick up the phone and call me because texts don't have emotion, they don't have feelings. I need to hear your voice. I need to see how you actually feeling. So when I ask you how you're doing, you can text me, I'm fine. But when I hear your voice, I can hear the whimper, the whine in it, or I can hear the laughter. So I like to talk to people to make that connection.
That's a really great point, Reggie. And my husband's mother, my dear mother-in-law, says that same thing. She's like, don't text me, don't email me, call me. Let me hear your voice. Let me hear how you're doing. And I think that that's really kind of something that even for our residents, the people that we serve, that's an issue. They're not really able to connect personally with people. And so in the closing minutes that we have, again, OnWard really is about how we overcome the challenges in our life and how we're able to support each other in that. And so Cynthia and Anita, I hope you don't mind, but I know you mentioned that you lost your sister and that she was a part of helping you all to bake and really be excited about baking. And so, you're on this journey, your sister isn't with you on this journey now. How were you able to move forward? Because your family's very close. How are you able to move forward? What supports did you have to be able to continue to do this work without such an important person in your life?
I can't say it's been easy, but because of the close family connection that we have, I didn't want to see her disappointed because I believe she's still with us, even though she's not here physically. I can still talk to her sometimes. Of course. It was funny because she had moved to DC before she passed away for her job, and we would talk still every day, several times a day. And when we would do cakes, because Anita had stepped up and started helping decorate once Terry moved to DC. So
before Terry,
we would finish with a cake, we'd send her the pictures. Like, is this okay? How does this look? And she would give her approval or say what else we needed to do and things like that. So I think with her being away initially, that kind of helped a little bit when she transitioned, but like I said, it's still been hard.
She even in DC played a part with the decorating. Sometimes there were things that needed to happen in Word documents or whatever, so that we can print something that needed to go on the cake. As you know, we have edible paper and all that good stuff. And she would do the formatting for us. And we would send her a picture of the work in progress. And she would say, okay, maybe you can do this or you can do that. So even while she was gone, she was still part of our decorating. She was still part of the cake business, and she was also doing cakes in DC and sending them showing us pictures so we can give advice to her. And like Cynthia said, we talked. All three of us talked every day. Every day on our way to work, we talked. We would sit, everybody in their own household, and we're sitting and watching TV together. You know, we're watching the same show, and we're all sitting there quietly until the commercial, where we would talk to each other until the show came back, and then, okay, we're quiet again. But we just had that kind of really close connection, right? And so her being gone was like losing a piece of your mind, if that makes any sense.
Yes, yes, yes. Mind and heart. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But because of the family connection, like I said,
you
wouldn't believe the amount of people that were surrounding us when this happened, because we were so close. They called us triplets.
Oh.
Right.
Or they would call me and Terry twins. They would get us confused all the time. So people even now, you know, they're still concerned about us, because they're like, your twin is gone. How are you coping? Or your triplet is one of the triplets is not here. But it's through our faith in God, through the love of family and friends, that you're able to keep it moving. And like I said, I don't want to make the things that she invested in me go to waste. She invested a lot, you know, in the classes and in time and things in us. And so I don't want that to go to waste. And same thing with my dad. My dad was one of our biggest supporters and fans, and the biggest
cheerleader ever.
And yes,
and the person who would tell everybody about
everything we did,
about everything we were doing. So we just had a close-knit, good family.
Yes.
With our dad, with Reggie's dad, they were like brothers, even though they were cousins. They were like brothers.
Okay.
So it's just a great family connection that we've always had, and that's what keeps us going even now.
Yeah. Right. In Chicago, we do business under the name LFG, the Sweet Side.
Nice.
And LFG stands for, our dad was Lee Floyd, and so LFG is Lee Floyd's Girls, or it's Living for God, because there's a sweet side to both.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes. And so in closing, what I'd like to do is just, if you all have a couple of words that you can share about what it means to do good, even when you're experiencing challenges. Because Cynthia and Anita, you both have experienced a challenge with the loss of your sister, but you're able to still continue to focus on helping others through the cafe. And Reggie, as a business owner, it isn't always easy when you're trying to do the right thing, you know, but you're trying to make a profit, because that's why you're in business, of course. But sometimes it gets a little difficult, but you still keep going the course. So I just want us to end on your thoughts about staying the course even through the challenges. Reggie, I'll start with you.
Adrianne, thank you, first of all, for having us today. And I want to commend you on being such a great host, making the conversation nice and fluid. Thank you. You're probably one of the best that I've seen on a podcast as far as keeping the conversation going. So I appreciate that. In that businesses are challenging because, of course, when the revenues are low and the bills are high, you still have to still make it. And you walk by faith and not by sight. And we put all those scriptures and all those good taglines and stuff until payday comes. And then all those things go out the window. We're like, okay, God, we thank you by faith, but now we need to have finances to support that faith in the end. So it does get challenging at times. And each week, and I'll tell you all that each week, everyone that works inside of Grounded expects a paycheck from us for the work they did the week before. And that's our job, is to make sure the funds are there, dip into our pockets, dip into our friends' pockets, dip into whoever pockets that we have to do it. And we just keep doing it every week until it builds up to be the business we want it to be. So starting up as a small business is tough. Starting up as a small business trying to do the right thing by people is even tougher. But we agreed to it. We put our shoulder to the plow, and we make sure that it happens. And again, as time progresses, as we continue to build partnerships with individuals in the community like Zaban and other people around us in that community, we know that what we've started will someday be something great, and we'll look back on the days of small, humble beginnings to the days of largeness. So we appreciate it. And everything that God does down here on earth, he does through people. And we want to be those people that God uses to make life changes.
I love that. I love that. Cynthia.
Well, right now, in order to keep things going, we're all still working our full-time jobs. So thankfully, I work from home, so
Yes.
I can work from anywhere. And so like Reggie said, we have to dip into our own pockets sometimes just to make ends meet for the cafe. But I believe that God is going to reward our sacrifice.
Yes.
And we are going to be profitable. And as we profit, so will the people who come through our doors.
Exactly.
Before we opened up, we wrote scriptures. We had scriptures written on the floors and on the walls of that place. So even though you can't see it, our place is covered by the blood of Jesus. So anything and anyone that comes in there, hopefully will feel the love that we have for them and that God has for them. And we're going to keep it going as long as we can and make sure everybody gets treated fairly and gets the customers get good product and the workers get good pay.
Yes. Yes. Love it. And Anita.
All right, like Cynthia said, before we opened, we had scriptures written on the floor, under the seats, on the walls. And so anytime you come in there, whether you believe in God or not, you're standing on the word, you're sitting on the word. If you lean on the wall, you're leaning on the word. And so our thing, Reggie, you'll sing it sometimes or I'll sing it. And so words to encourage, it won't always be like this. One of my favorite songs, the Lord will perfect that concerning you. Sooner or later, things are going to work in your favor. He'll turn it around for you. So just be encouraged, stay the course. God's a good God and he's a faithful God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this has really been a blessing for me personally. Thank you. Listening to your story, I have had an opportunity to meet Cynthia and Reggie, firsthand, and just lovely, beautiful spirits. And Anita, your spirit shines through on that phone when we're able to get you in on FaceTime. But, I just want to pull out a couple of things in closing. I want to pull out faith. I hear you talk a lot about your faith in God and how that has really supported you. Perseverance, continuing and trusting that you're doing the right thing and that God is going to see you through it. And then love for your family and love for the people who you are allowing to come into your space and work. You don't see them as homeless. You see them as people worthy of respect and dignity.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they feel it. And they're able to pass it on to the customers that come in. And I'm sure the customers feel it too. Thank you for the work that you're doing through Grounded. Reggie or Cynthia, talk again. Let's pump up Grounded to get folks in there. Again, tell us where it is, what the hours are, and all the good stuff you got.
Grounded Cafe located at 1545 Peachtree Street in the Invesco building, right across from SCAD and Equifax, down the street from the Zaban. We offer everything from soup, salad, sandwiches, ice cream, coffee, caramel macchiatos, cakes, and all those good things. Soup is on the way and all those good things. But we look forward to having you stop by. We also cater for your party needs or just your office needs. We have it. We have what you need. We are a small business. Plan on being big one day. Because we are small in age, we're small in service. We're large in service and our commitment to the community. So we thank you Again, stop by 1545 Peachtree Street Northeast, Grounded Cafe. You can find us on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and all those places that people visit. Again, we thank you, Adrianne, for your time. We look forward to the partnership with Z-Band. And please be looking out for the things that's happening in the community for us in the not so distant future. As Cynthia said, we have open mic starting in the beginning of March. We have Sunday brunch starting toward the end of March. So we're looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll also be opening on Sundays sometime in the middle of March. So it's looking for a great time and great things. And we have some advertising and marketing coming out for our college students and professors and staff over the next week or so. So we have that coming in with a great discount for those that are listening from SCAD, and all college students and professors, 10% off at any university. Bring your valid ID. Valid ID, we give you 10% off your entire order. If you sign up, if you get us listed on, if you do a review for us on Google, we also give you a percentage off of that. We want to get people in the doors to make sure that the doors stay open. So again, Adrianne, thank you for your time and for your attention. I wanted to say it was tough getting started, but it's tougher doing right by the people that start with us. And so we look forward to that.
Absolutely. And one last plug, if ever you're in St. Croix, Reggie, where should they go for a good cup of coffee?
They should go downtown at 112 Strand Street or the Via Building, 4006 Estate Diamond. Please do that. If you're ever in St. Croix, and y'all, yes, come back and get some great coffee. I'll put another plug in for something else. But yes, come back, get a great cup of coffee, a good scoop of ice cream or a sandwich, and just enjoy the sunshine. Break free from that cold weather in Chicago, New York, and Atlanta, and come down here to where it's 85 degrees.
He's making me jealous. He's making me
Right.
jealous.
Reggie, I know you've got the beach in the background. I wish that we could see it. I bet that is.
I'd be glad to show you.
Before we go, I would love to see that.
I was trying to keep you from
this is fabulous.
That's
Right.
us right there.
I will think it.
I love it, Reggie. This is so awesome.
Pure jealousy, pure jealousy.
Yes.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me this morning. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate y'all. I hope that we get some good business for Grounded. It's been a wonderful morning. It's sunny here in Atlanta. Love it. You know what, y'all? Let's do this coffee thing. Stay grounded and do good.
Yes,
This is Adrianne signing off on OnWard. Again, OnWard is on WCEG, and you can always listen to us on the WCEG Network or WCEG Talk Radio on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Insta. WCEG is the worldwide community engagement group where we speak life into the community. Have a great Saturday, everybody.
You too.